British science fiction author and writer of great influence in the world, Arthur C. Clarke said, "Great minds are related to the brief span of time during which they live, as great buildings are to a little square in which they stand. You cannot see them in all their magnitude because you are standing too close to them," meaning all the great minds actually have always had their own limitations and deficiencies and difficulties and complexities that we're not always able to admit or understand, and that we're not always willing to admit to the problems that the great minds always carry and contain in and about themselves. But the great minds do not always live in the long term. The great people and their actions, character, do not actually tell them or demand them a great or a long lifespan, but they just want to live with integrity, morality, and character. The great minds obviously want to live with absolute honesty and unparalleled truthfulness towards itself, so that it is constantly able to create new things such as knowledge, wisdom, intelligence that helps the whole of mankind and the entire society in one way or another. Otherwise, the great minds cease to exist. The great minds basically dwell on the creation of meaning, significance, substance, and words that they have about themselves, and they constantly churn that out. And they're also dominated by the desire to do something equally great, significant, and remarkable and notable for all of mankind with their knowledge, wisdom, reasoning, and other sorts of miraculous abilities. So great minds do not always live or lead an elongated lifestyle. All the great people in the world lived for a relatively short amount of time than the futile, preposterous people. So it's the quality, substance, and significance of the life and the person that actually matters more than the length of it, because length does not translate to quality, significance, worth, virtue, or value, but a life which is lived in accordance with virtues of integrity, morality, character, compassion, understanding can be considered to be great, admirable, honorable, and respectable by the others and not just oneself. So that's what the great minds are all about. They always count on themselves. They always lead by character and confidence, courage, bravery, despite external criticisms and unnecessary violence.